Hi guys! I have an exciting announcement today. I am hosting my very first readathon, and it will be, as you can tell by the title, and as I'm sure comes as no surprise to any of you, a C.S. Lewis themed readathon. I am really excited to be hosting this. I have two wonderful co-hosts, Anne from In Search of Wonder, Shannon from Old American Spirit, and I am so glad that they wanted to jump in and be a part of this. Let's see. I have 9 prompts that I based around C.S. Lewis books. You do not have to read a book for every prompt. You can double up on prompts. Feel free to do that. And if you read just one book that fits into any of these categories, you have participated. And it's for the whole month of November is when this readathon is happening, because C.S. Lewis was born and he also died in November. So I thought that would be actually a pretty good month to host this in. So, without further ado, let me just read y'all the prompts. So the first prompt is Narnia, obviously, a middle grade or a fantasy. I would have done just fantasy, but then I thought there might be some people who just don't read fantasy, and I wouldn't want to box somebody out of participating in this one when there was such an easy other prompt to reach for. So yes, middle grade or fantasy. I don't think I need to explain. Some of these I'll need to explain my thought process. This one I don't think I do. Mere Christianity, a Christian nonfiction. That one's going to be harder for me to do, but I will do it. Again, should be self-explanatory. This is like the quintessential Christian nonfiction book. Space Trilogy, a sci-fi. This one is kind of stuck in that genre, but that's because that's the main attraction of Space Trilogy, is that it is sci-fi. But you don't have to black out to complete the to have participated. You don't have to get a blackout. You can skip this prompt. Feel completely free to do that. Next is Till We Have Faces, a book with a female main character. Because Till We Have Faces has one of Lewis's most complex female characters. It was actually co-written with Joy, his wife, before her death, so that would be, that's partially why I think it has such a strong female character. Next is Screwtape Letters, a book about spiritual warfare, or an epistolary novel, because I know books about spiritual warfare are not everyone's cup of tea, so I thought I will include this caveat of it could also be an epistolary, because Screwtape is epistolary. Let's see. Next, I have The Four Loves, a book by a different member of the Inklings. So for this, you would need to read a book written by pretty much anyone who was ever an Inkling would count. The main ones that you would probably be reading from would obviously be one, Tolkien. Charles Williams is another one. Owen Barfield, Hugo Dyson, Lewis's brother Warney, although he wasn't in it very much. I would not... Christopher Tolkien would be another one, although all of his stuff pretty much is just J.R.R. Tolkien's stuff that he worked on. I would not be mad if you included Dorothy Sayers, because even though she was not an official Inkling, she very much was friends with several of them, not just Lewis. You could even probably stretch this and say anyone who was a friend of Lewis, even if they weren't an Inkling. And the reason that I picked this prompt is The Four Loves has that wonderful classic passage about friendship where Lewis says, friendship is that moment when you meet someone and you say, "What? You too? I thought I was the only one." So I thought that would be a very appropriate prompt for The Four Loves. Which is one of my favorite Lewis nonfictions, by the way. I love The Four Loves. Alright, next is The Discarded Image, a book that inspired Lewis. The Discarded Image is Lewis's academic treatise on the medievals. Like the medieval cosmology and the way they viewed the solar system and things. So, obviously that inspired Lewis greatly. So, basically you need to read a book that inspired Lewis. And for this, I will accept any book published before a certain book of Lewis's. Like, published before Lewis's death. Pretty much any book that we still read today that was published before Lewis's death, Lewis would have read. I am almost 100% certain of that. So, or a short story. Like, I found, for example, Poe's Fall of the House of Usher. I see elements of that reflected in Silverchair. There is so much you can do with this. Just pretty much, it has to be older than Lewis, but anything that's older than Lewis, yeah, I count that. Unless it's like, maybe if it's something that we, like, a foreign thing that we, an ancient text or whatever that was discovered since Lewis, but honestly, that's probably not true. You could read the Bible and technically count the Bible for this, okay? Like, it's fine. Find some, you know, you can find something, I'm sure, that counts for this one. Next is Surprised by Joy, a Christian biography, because Surprised by Joy is Lewis's autobiography. And finally, The Great Divorce, a book with stubborn characters. Because The Great Divorce is all about how people refused, like, people who are in hell because they chose it. And they would not choose heaven even if given the option. That's sort of the main point of The Great Divorce. Yeah. There will potentially be a group read. I'm probably going to plan to read Miracles. So if anyone wanted to read Miracles and just kind of, you know, we don't even have to be actively discussing it. Just if you wanted to read Miracles, and then I will be talking about that in my wrap-up. Probably going to read Miracles by Lewis. Not confident on that, but that's my plan. So if we want to make that a group read, that would be great. If you wanted to join in reading that. If not, like I said, I will be reading it pretty much no matter what. Because that's a Lewis, I need to get knocked out. I'm going to get an audiobook from the library and hopefully let me knock that out. That will be my Christian nonfiction square. So yes. I hope you will participate. Please tag me in your TBRs, in your wrap-ups, just anything that you do that has to do with the C.S. Lewis Readathon. I would love to hear what you want to read for it, if you're planning to participate. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.